Victory Sunday. I'm moonwalking, and the Rizzo Show starts now.
MGM Northfield Park presents The Rizzo Show. And now, your host, Tony Rizzo.
Smell that, Tone? Victory Sunday. Yeah! Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Tony Grossi with me from ESPN Cleveland. And Tone, big win for the Browns today. I'm not going to nitpick, maybe a little bit during the show, but finally they got on track. You predicted it, Tone, the offensive explosion.
Well, they needed to do it, and they got it done, right? I mean, it wasn't pretty, even though there were a lot of points. There's a lot to work on. But they completed this home stretch, 3-0. And as a couple players in the locker room said afterwards, these are our playoff games. They know one more loss, and the season's pretty much over.
Worst kept secret in America, folks. Jarvis Landry wanted to play well today against his former team. And Tony, he was a straight-up baller. Targeted 13 times. He caught 10 balls, 148 in yardage, 2 touchdowns. What did you think?
Early birthday present, 4 days away from his 27th birthday, and this game he circled, right? I think 2 years ago when he was traded, he knew they were going to play the Miami Dolphins in 2019, circled the game, saw it on the schedule this year.
What is the dance? Can you do that?
No, I don't know.
Can you do the dance? What was the dance? What is it?
Don't know what they're doing. It seemed to me, Riz, they wanted to get him a hat trick, though, after he had the 2 quick touchdowns.
Yeah.
They tried to get him a third, but it didn't happen.
We're going to talk about that. Tony, has Jarvis Landry become the leader of this team right now?
Well, I think on offense, he has helped Baker Mayfield in that regard. And, his primary focus has been his friend, Odell Beckham Jr., all year. But I think now with Chubb and Hunt and Baker, they're starting to use all cylinders, just in the nick of time.
Yeah, and in the riches of the Browns offense, the spoils of all those weapons is unbelievable. Jarvis was asked if it meant a little more today against his former team.
No, I didn't mean extra, but it was fun. It definitely was fun.
I told you what was going to happen today. I just told you. I just know him. And it's not just this game. It could be every game. So I was just happy to see it. You know, I get fired up when I see him make plays. I get fired up when I see him fired up. So it was a special day. It's a good birthday gift.
Tony, you get the feeling that these kids have been waiting for this day for a while.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, everyone involved in his trade to Cleveland is gone from Miami. The general manager, the coach. There aren't even many ex-teammates left on that team, but he still enjoyed the day because he beat them.
Yeah, and I thought OBJ had a good game, right? And Tony, are the Browns still forcing the ball to him a little bit?
At times it seems that way, but at least they spread it around. Look at the guys who scored touchdowns. Chubb, Hunt, Landry, Odell.
Yeah.
I mean, if Njoku was active, he would have probably got one too.
Yeah, very quietly too. Baker Mayfield had his best day. Let's look at the numbers for the trio, and I love that they were all doing that dance. We got to name that dance. Well, you guys should have asked them after the game, what was the dance? 327 yards for Baker, 3 touchdowns. He had a great quarterback rating. Tony, this is a trend. Thank God, folks, can I say this? Thank God Baker looks like Baker again. Tony, I was getting very nervous early on in the year, sophomore slump or whatever, but he's back on track.
Yeah, it's been a long climb up a steep ladder for him. And his numbers are starting to even out now. And he won over 60% completions for the year, more touchdowns than interceptions, and finally over 80 for his passer rating. And those will still go up from this point, I think.
Baker was asked if the offense is where he expected it to be.
We're making strides in the direction we need to. I wouldn't say we're exactly right where we need to be, but we're showing flashes of that consistency that I talked about we need to have. So it's headed in the right direction, so we need to keep building on it.
Tone, I'm glad that they're not satisfied, and he knows they still are far from a perfect thing.
Yeah, early on there were some offensive penalties came back early on in this game and missed opportunities. It took them so long to score that first touchdown once they got inside the 20. And this was kind of like a JV team they were playing. But you know what? It helped. The game was never in doubt. And although it wasn't perfect, I think they're feeling a lot better about themselves offensively.
All right, from offense to defense, you and I saw Clay Matthews play back in the day. I tell you, I got to say this, Joe Schobert is having one of the best years I've ever seen a linebacker have for the Cleveland Browns.
4 interceptions in the last 2 games. These are 2 big wins, right? They had to have them, and he's making plays. You know, when a linebacker makes interceptions, that's such a big play. It was like Ray Lewis made interceptions, you know. And all the great linebackers, they do more than just make tackles. And that was good to see. It's 2 in a row, man. He is having the best year of his career.
Why don't I hear more about him nationally? He's so underrated.
Yeah, he's just so overshadowed. Everybody on defense is overshadowed on this team because of those shining stars on offense. But you're right. League-wide, as a linebacker, he deserves more recognition.
Yeah, and I think he's going to lead the league in tackles or come close to it. That's where he's been. All right. What about Freddie Kitchens? I got a little bone to pick, Tom. The Browns are up 28-3 at half, and suddenly in the third quarter it was 28-17. Was that a result of some of the play calling? Freddie loves to throw the football.
He did, and that's why I say I think they were trying to get Landry another touchdown to get 3 of them. And at the same time, Fitzpatrick kind of wore down the Browns' defensive line because they didn't have a lot of substitutions available. And they were passing on every down and going in hurry-up mode. And they kind of wore down until Schobert's interception in the fourth quarter. But you're right. I mean, the one thing we haven't seen Freddie be able to do is manage the game with a lead. Move the ball on the ground, score, but eat clock.
Yeah, they scored 17 straight. All right, you know what? I'm sorry. You know what? The Browns have won 3 in a row. Told them they've kind of fixed the turnover battle. They had a couple penalties today, but I got to give Freddie some credit. Yeah. Do you feel like he's evolving as a head coach as the season goes on?
Yeah, I thought this was a big challenge for him. The trap game in between these 2 emotional games against Pittsburgh last Thursday and the one coming up. And he was ready. I mean, you can't say they weren't prepared. They went out to a 28-0 lead.
Yep.
There's still things he's learning, like we just talked about, but they're overcoming them now.
Yeah, it's a good sign. And any coach that's going to win me 3 games in a row after the stretch that we went through a couple of years ago.
That's 4 years worth.
Freddie, I'm going to buy you a beer when I see you next time. Tony, what is tonight's Merriman play of the day? Explain this. Okay? What was the score here? I forget. Was it second quarter?
14-0.
It's 14-0, and they tried 4th and 7, a fake punt. They ran a guy straight up the middle. He gained 2 yards. What is that?
Well, this team, the special teams of this team, has nothing to lose. So they've tried to create momentum plays. They've been successful all year. It's just that the Browns were really prepared for anything. Like Prefer talked about it all week.
Right.
And you know what? That thing may have worked a couple years ago against the Browns special teams.
Right.
But they weren't going to surprise this one.
That's our Merriman Legal play of the day. Make Tom's team your team. Tony, time for our Rizzy recap. Let's go over this. Number 1, offensive explosion. Now, the offenses look better. Should I be expecting this now every week? I mean, they scored 40 today, Tony. They've been averaging like 19.
Yeah, this was the most points of the year. They had 40 against Baltimore, 41 today. And still, Riz, they left points on the field. They had to settle for field goals at least 2 times when they got down the field. And they missed a field goal, too. They had 2 balls on the ground, like fumbles. Made a lot of offensive penalties, and they still scored 41. That's a good sign. I mean, there's still time for it all to click, and we haven't seen it yet.
I know we have had a lot of great signings, and the Doris has done a great job. But, Tony, I got to tell you, Jarvis Landry is one of the best things he's ever done for this football team. I love him. You can count on Jarvis Landry.
Mentally tough player, and that's what they need more of, mental toughness on this team. And he is that. Yeah.
And then finally, Tone, we're still in it. The Browns have won 3 in a row. Folks, here we go. You win in Pittsburgh on Sunday, and you're back to 500. Tony, can they really run the table, honestly?
Well, let's put it this way. They could get to the Baltimore game, 15th game of the year, here in Cleveland, still winning. And then we'll see what they'll look like when they get there. If they continue to win, they got Cincinnati twice, they got Arizona in Arizona, and the Pittsburgh game. If they win those 4 games, they are going to be mentally prepared to beat anyone in a game that matters.
Is their confidence building? Because they were shaken group a month ago.
Absolutely, and you know what? We haven't mentioned Myles Garrett. they've kind of rallied behind him. That's the only conclusion you can draw from this, because the defense played well again against, Miami is what they are. But, in the past, they'd stumble over a game like this.
There's a reason we haven't mentioned Myles Garrett. I'm sick of it. Okay? I'm sick of it.
Sorry.
It's 3 wins in a row for the Browns. Coming up, what can we expect in Pittsburgh next week? We'll preview the showdown. They were already talking about it on all the national shows today. Stay tuned. What a good-looking set that is, huh? Come on. Welcome back, folks. Tone, let's check in with our friends in Pittsburgh as the Squealers squeaked by the Bengals 16-10 today. The Bengals are now 0-11. Tone, Mason Rudolph clearly rattled. He had poor play today. He was benched. He was only 8 of 16 for 65 yards and an interception. Delvin Hodges replaced him and found James Washington for a touchdown. Pittsburgh squeaking on a win. Let me ask you now, do you expect Hodges or Rudolph on Sunday?
Well, Mike Tomlin wouldn't tip his hand, but he said, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm just not going to announce it. He's got to go to the guy who won the game for him, right? Hodges, who filled in previously one game when Rudolph was concussed. I don't think the home fans will let him put Mason Rudolph on that field in this rematch.
Word is that the Browns are going to sign Hulk Hogan to play linebacker for this game on Sunday. Tell Baker and the boys took care of business last Thursday, but outside the obvious Miles melee, there were some nasty hits. So what do you think? Are we going to see a physical game like the Ravens-Steelers play, or will the referees nip this at the butt?
Well, I'm sure they will, and it depends on the officiating crew that is assigned to that game. I don't know who it's going to be, but there are some who don't take anything from anybody, and there's a lot of young crews. I'm sure they'll put an experienced crew.
Right.
But you know what? I think the play on the field is going to be fine. I would not want to be a fan in the stands for that game. That's where the unruliness probably will get out of hand.
I know that we are well represented as always on the road, Tone, and the Browns fans will be in their Browns gear. Do you think that could be a problem?
Yeah, I would be careful, really. Be careful. Don't flaunt your fandom because it gets pretty ugly in the stands.
Is the rivalry back, T?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's back.
Absolutely.
Maybe not the way we wanted it.
Well, listen, if they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers for the second time and sweep them, that'll be the first time in over 30 years.
89.
Is it 89?
I think it's 89.
Well, that's 30 years.
89, I think that's what it was last time we swept the Steelers. Tony, what do you think of owner Dee Haslam's hat today? She was showing support for Myles Garrett, wearing the number 95 pregame.
Well, that's the first indication, really, that Myles Garrett has the total support from the top down, right? We've heard statements and we've had the coaches and the players, but here's the owner of the Browns showing her support. I'm sure, and why not? This is a player that they have a big investment in and they love, and except for one moment in time, he's been a very exemplary representative of the franchise.
All right, one other football note. Not only is it Steeler week here in Northeast Ohio, it's Michigan week. Tony, Buckeyes in Michigan. I didn't get the line. I'm sure the Bucks will be a big favorite. Do you expect a good game?
I do. Michigan hasn't made it a good game under Jim Harbaugh. But I think they will this year. This was supposed to be the year Michigan would take the baton from Ohio State. That's not going to happen, but they could really spoil their season. So I think it'll be a real good game.
Next, from football to basketball, Tony, the Wine and Gold, 5-11. They were off today, but host the Nets tomorrow. And guess what, Tony? Kyrie Irving won't be coming back to Cleveland. How about this? Kyrie Irving won't be playing in Boston on Wednesday. Tony, this is his shtick. He doesn't play in towns where he used to play because he just can't take the booze. It's part of the game.
This now comes under the term load management, right?
No.
That's not even a
This
stretch
is called boo management.
Yeah, well,
he
there you
doesn't
go.
want to hear the booze. Tony's only been back here once since he left Cleveland.
What would happen if the Brooklyn Nets and the Cavaliers actually both made the playoffs? Would he show up then?
He would have
Maybe
to.
not.
One of the Celtics, Kendrick Perkins, called him out and said, no, he doesn't want to play because he doesn't want to hear the Garden go crazy. Get on the Cavs bandwagon, folks. Coming up, we're spinning the wheel, a special holiday edition, a Thanksgiving edition. Stay with us.
Hello, everybody. everybody. My name's Chrissy here to tell you about some special promotions and offers we have here at MGM Northfield Park. Win 9 cars in 9 days at MGM Northfield Park. This November, visit MGM every Tuesday and Saturday to win a brand new Mercedes-Benz luxury SUV. Earn 3 times bonus entries on Thursdays and Fridays and activate your entries the day of the drawings at your favorite VLT machine or kiosk. Your last chance to win is this week, so make sure to visit today. MGM is the MVP of VLTs. We have added more than 100 new games to the floor, including Wheel of Fortune and The Price is Right. Check out these new exclusive games. Plus, you'll have the chance to win concert tickets, dining offers, and more by just gaming on your favorite machines. Every day, lucky random VLT guests will be selected to win prizes for simply playing with their M Life Rewards card. Bring in the new year with Bruce in the USA. Lock in your seats today and party with the #1 tribute band to Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. Take a Vegas vacation without leaving the state. MGM Northfield Park, Las Vegas is here.
Well, the holidays are here, folks. Get ready. The holidays are here, and that means it's a special Thanksgiving-related Wheel of Rizzo Fortune. Tone, white or dark meat? Let's start with where you want to be. What do you like?
Wow, both of them are good. I'll have to go dark.
Dark meat? You like the dark? I like the white. I like the white, but I'll eat both. Yeah. I've got 20-something coming over. 2 turkeys and a breast. I'm going.
Bring some leftovers to work for the next
I will
day.
on Friday. I will. And you know what? We got a little smoked turkey going too. All right, here we go. Thanksgiving sides. Tony, I am a stuffing guy, and I make a special stuffing from Ina, the Barefoot Contessa on Food Network, with a little apple, a little sausage, and a little walnut. What do you like best?
Well, I like the stuffing #1 also, with mashed potatoes definitely on Thanksgiving.
Michael Simon's brown butter mashed.
Oh,
I go brown butter mashed, where you got to burn the butter a little bit, and they're absolutely fantastic. All right, no sports tonight on the wheel. I like it. I like it. Cranberry sauce.
Count me out of this.
Oh,
I have never turned on to it.
You've never had it the right way. You got to have it with a little orange juice, cooked down, and you got to serve it chilled. Tony, there's many antioxidants in that. I'm telling you, cranberry is like gold for your body. Try the cranberry juice this year. All right, I'm getting hungry. Spin it. Pumpkin or apple?
On this day, definitely pumpkin pie for me.
Is Pie Lady still over in Grafton? Kev, she's still there, right? The Pie Lady? Nancy, she does a great job. We did Riz on the road there. Ask me if I like apple or pumpkin.
Apple or pumpkin?
Yes. I love good dessert and I love good pies.
Throw a dollop of ice cream on top of that apple pie.
Gotta have a little vanilla. Next, roll that wheel, baby. Turkey Bowl or Super Bowl?
Is this watching football on Thanksgiving?
What would you rather have, Turkey Bowl or Super Bowl? So you got to admit, the football on Thanksgiving is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's all day. It's from the moment you wake up practically till at night.
Tone, real quick, we play at Dallas next year. Do you think the league will put the Browns on Thanksgiving next year?
I hope so. It's been 30 years since the Browns appeared.
I remember it was 80. It was the Lions.
In Detroit.
It was the Lions. By the way, Barry Sanders is still running, folks.
That's right.
He hit about 200 yards on us that day. I remember. All right, one more. Here we go. Sports turkey, Tone. Give me a sports turkey. Antonio Brown. Right now?
Good one.
Good one.
How about Mason Rudolph?
Oh, God. Really getting benched? How about the Astros? They're turkeys, cheaters. I knew they were cheating. We all knew. You folks, we in the media, we knew they were up to something when they played the Indians a couple years ago in the playoffs. I think they should be banned for life. I'd disabandon that franchise for stealing signs. All right, we will wrap things up. And they are really pumping up the Browns and Steelers already. One last segment when we come back. All right, don't forget, stay tuned for our good friends Big Chuck and Lil John. See, it's Lil, not Lil John. Lil John Tony, they're coming up next. Tony, I think this is the most anticipated game. Why did the league move the Browns game back to 1 o'clock? I thought the 4 o'clock start. Everybody wants to see it.
Yeah, they thought Oakland and Kansas City would be a better game nationally. Oakland got thumped by the Jets today, so they'll regret that decision. But it was made actually before the Browns played Thursday night against Pittsburgh. They were talking about
Oh, I see. I see.
Even more so now, it deserves to be on the game of the week.
Well, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And I want to tell my crew that I work with here on Rizzo Show, Kevin and John and Kate and everybody who works here. So thankful to have you guys with me on Rizzo Show all these years now, in our 8th year, Tone, for the Rizzo Show. Can you believe it?
That's
We've
fantastic.
done 7,000 Riz on the roads.
Wow.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Go Browns. Good to be alive. Good night.